15 months ago, I made what most people thought was a crazy decision. I walked away from a successful online business, digital business, to go into home services. Today, that crazy decision has turned into a profitable business, and we hit profitability before hitting the 1 year mark. But here's what's really crazy. I'm not the first person to make this journey. I'm just one of the few that wants to try to talk about it honestly. So if you're a home services business owner who's tired of getting advice from people who have not been in the trenches, who haven't walked the walk, that's what we're trying to build. And I hope you stick around for upcoming videos to learn our journey. I'm sharing today our sort of unconventional path of how we got to where we are. This includes me going from being a tax attorney at the largest law firm in the world to having a home services business in Colorado, as well as spending about a decade in between in something entirely different from both. And I'm hoping that that unique journey gives you a little bit more perspective on what we're trying to do, helping you and helping businesses like yours to succeed in today's environment. So I'm Amber, and welcome to the Blueprint to Business. This is the channel where we cut through the BS and start talking about real strategies for building profitable home services businesses. This is my first video, so I want to start by answering the question I get all the time. Who am I and why should you be listening to me? And that's a fair question. The home services space is full of people selling courses and coaching who've never actually run the business that they're teaching about. I'm not one of those people. I have spent the last 15 months launching, growing home services business, a window covering business, from zero to profitability in less than 12 months. And I'm still in the trenches every day. I think a lot of people who go into this space, they built these big successful businesses 10, 20, 30 years ago, and they are now billionaires or 100 millionaires. And they don't have the same perspective as I do on how to build this business today in the current environment and building it from scratch. This is just the latest chapter in a pretty unconventional business story that I think gives me a unique perspective on what you're going through as a home services business owner. Let me start at the beginning. For 10 years, I worked in corporate America. I was a corporate tax attorney, not exactly the typical background for someone who stresses out daily about installing window coverings in people's homes. But here's what those 10 years taught me. Successful businesses are not built on luck or hustle. They're built on a solid foundation. And that includes understanding your numbers, your profitability, where to set your margins, and having systems in place that actually work. But after 10 years, I realized something. Corporate tax law is boring, and I was burnt out. I was just trading time for money, just like everyone else in the corporate world, and I wanted more out of life. I had all this business knowledge and this, amazing degree, but I wasn't applying it to create something of my own. So in 2012, I made my first big pivot. I left the law, and I dove headfirst into the digital world. For the next decade, I built my experience in writing, content, digital marketing, social media. And starting in 2012, I left the US to travel with my husband, Eric, and we spent 12 years traveling the world. For 8 of those years, we ran successful travel blogs. I wrote a couple of books. We had a successful Amazon business. We had a not so successful Amazon business. And we launched a social media and content consulting business with clients like Marriott. All of this while we traveled the world and we lived in Asia and Europe. But then 2020 happened. There was no more travel and there was no more travel blog. I pivoted to use my experience online in a new industry. I ran operations for a couple of affiliate marketing companies, including I-15 Media, Cana Media, and these weren't small operations. At one point, I had a team of 50 people reporting to me on a daily basis. But the experience that really changed the way I think about business was running the newsletter Milk Road as their COO. If you haven't heard of Milk Road, it's one of the most successful newsletters in the crypto space and did a great job by building a massive and engaged audience with a daily newsletter. Running the newsletter taught me something crucial. Building an audience isn't about followers or vanity metrics. It's about trust, consistency, and delivering real value to real people with real problems. And as much as that was in the crypto space, the same advice can translate into home services businesses where you're trying to build those relationships relationships with your clients and your referral partners. So by 2023, I had this incredible skill set. Legal expertise, operations, digital marketing skills, audience building. But I kept thinking about something. All these digital businesses and all this online success, it really felt disconnected from the real world, particularly the real world of the last couple years. I wanted to really build something tangible, something traditional, something that solved real problems for people in their homes. And that's when Eric and I came up with this crazy idea. So 15 months ago, we decided to start our Bumblebee Blinds franchise here in Boulder, Colorado. And I'll be honest, people thought we were nuts. So you're going from running digital businesses to installing blinds. And here's what I realized though. The home services businesses all have the same challenges as any other business. Operations, marketing, customer acquisition, team building, financial management. It's all the same thing, just within a different industry. The main difference, though, is a lot of people giving advice in this space have never actually solved any of these problems, or they built their business so long ago that they don't know what it's like to start from zero in today's environment. Their advice today comes from a billionaire's viewpoint. They're not in the home day to day. They're not driving the truck. They're not handling inventory and supplies. We hit profitability in under 12 months, not because we got lucky, but because we applied everything we learned from our prior online businesses to our home services business. We used digital marketing strategies that most contractors have never even heard of. We implemented operation systems that are used by really big companies. And we built our customer experience using principles from successful content businesses. But here's the thing, and this is important. I remember exactly what it felt like during months 2, 3, and 4 when we weren't sure if this was even going to work. Facing the challenges of inconsistent cash flow, asking ourselves over and over whether we made a big mistake. The days of dealing with difficult customers and the stuff that no one talks about in their success stories. And I think that's what makes me different from most people creating content in this space. I'm not sharing strategies from 20 years ago that helped make me a billionaire. I'm sharing what worked yesterday, last week, last month, and the strategies that we're using moving forward to help scale our business even more. And this brings me to the FS agency. While we were building our window covering business, Eric and I realized that we were developing systems and strategies that could help other home services businesses. We started working with other franchise owners and helped them with their operations, efficiency, and grassroots marketing. But we kept running into the same problem. We saw, not just within franchising, but home services in general, businesses that were leaving money on the table because they couldn't figure out their digital marketing strategy and the way that gave them the highest and best ROI. Or they were drowning in operational efficiencies so that they weren't finding the highest and best use of their time each day, or they didn't understand their numbers well enough to make smart decisions on where they should spend their money, how they should spend their money, where they should set their margins to ensure that they're not operating a nonprofit. That's when we realized there's a huge gap in the market. Home services businesses need advisors who actually understand their world, not theoretically, but practically. So we made the decision to expand beyond just franchise owners. We want to build a community and a resource hub for all home services businesses: roofers, HVACs, plumbers, electricians, landscapers, realtors, interior designers, anyone who's sort of in the home on a daily basis with their clients. And that's what this YouTube channel is all about. So what can you expect from Blueprint to Business? First, as much as I can, I want to share real numbers, what's actually working in our business. Not because I want to show off, but because you need real data to make real decisions. I want to share practical systems. Every strategy I share is something that we're actively using in our business. If I haven't tested it, I won't share it. This will save you time. I also will share what tools I've tested that I don't think will work, which will also save you time. Third, the operational and marketing strategies that you need to bring into effect in your business to get real results. This includes customer acquisition, team building, efficiency system, the stuff that determines whether you're profitable or just keeping yourself busy day to day. I also want to share some honest conversations about what it's really like to build a home services business today. The wins, the losses, the unexpected challenges, and the lessons that we're learning along the way. If you're tired of getting business advice from people who've never built what you're trying to build now, you're in the right place. I am not going to promise you $1 million of revenue in 90 days. I'm not going to sell you some magic formula that doesn't exist. What I do want to share is a real blueprint the actual strategies, systems, and structures that are working for us and our clients right now. And if that sounds valuable to you, what I will ask of you today is to subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications. We're going to be posting videos every week on a lot of different topics, from operations and efficiency to tools that we use to digital marketing strategies and Google Business Profile, and bringing in AI tools to help increase our efficiency. Also, drop a comment below. I want to know what your biggest challenge is. I want to know what you're struggling with, what keeps you up at night, what questions do you have? Because your questions will help shape the content that I create on this channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.